Okay, today we are going to solve this quadratic equation. You can tell it's a quadratic equation because it has three terms and the first term is squared. We are going to solve this by using the quadratic formula, which is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So first off, our a term is going to be our first one, right where x is. Our b term is going to be our middle term, and our c is going to be our third term. So we're going to plug these into our formula down here. So that will be x equals negative b, and our b is 3, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that's going to be 3 again, 3 squared, minus 4ac. So our a is going to be 1 because there's nothing in front of the x, and then our c is going to be 2, all over 2a, which is going to be 2 times 1. To start by solving the equation, it's easier to just go ahead and start with the square root, what's inside the square root. So that's going to be x equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 3 squared, which is 9, minus 4 times 1, which is still 4, and then 4 times 2, which is 8. So minus 8 all over, and we can go ahead and multiply the bottom. 2 times 1, which gives us 2. Alright, so then we still have to subtract in the square root. So that is going to give us x equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus 8, which is 1, over 2. So now the square root of 1 is just 1. So x equals negative 3 plus or minus 1 over 2. Now we're going to split the plus and minus up, and that will give us x equals negative 3 plus 1 over 2, and x equals negative 3 minus 1 over 2. And the top is going to give us a negative 2 over 2, and 2 divided by negative 2 equals negative 1, and then negative 3 minus 1 over 2 will give us negative 4 over 2, which will give us negative 2. So those are our answers. So x will equal negative 1 and negative 2. Since we found our answers, we can now plug them in for x and make sure they check out and work. We'll start with negative 1. So negative 1 squared plus 3 times negative 1 plus 2 equals 0. So negative 1 squared is 1, plus negative 1 times 3 is negative 3, plus 2 equals 0. So negative 3 plus 2 will give us negative 1, and we have 1 plus negative 1 equals 0, and that will be 0 equals 0. So negative 1 works out. So negative 2 squared plus 3 times negative 2 plus 2 equals 0. Alright, so negative 2 squared is going to give us 4 plus 3 times negative 2, which is plus negative 6 plus 2 equals 0. So negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. So 4 minus 4 equals 0, and 4 minus 4 is 0. So 0 equals 0. -2 checks out. And that is how you use the quadratic formula when solving a quadratic equation.